What do you do when something saves your life, but you realize it wasn't trying to? When rescue is just a side effect of something hunting something else? Most Lovecraftian horrors want to destroy you, corrupt you, or drive you mad. But there's one that might actually save you, though not because it cares. Nodens, Lord of the Great Abyss. Picture black cliffs battered by endless wind. A house perched at the edge of everything, looking like it shouldn't exist. An old man with a wild beard rides through the night itself, and when he calls, things without faces come running. We're talking about Nodens, the Lord of the Great Abyss. His presence touches both the storm-lashed heights of Kingsport and the impossible staircases of Dream. Is he a savior, a hunter, a judge? Or maybe he's something so ancient that our language can't describe it. Nodens isn't something Lovecraft made up from scratch. The name comes from actual Roman-British archaeology. At Lydney Park in Gloucestershire, evidence of a temple dedicated to a god called Nodens links him to hunting, hounds, the sea, and healing. His temple stood high above the Severn, where tides rush in like stampeding horses, a deity of edges and thresholds, already half in love with the places where one thing becomes another. Lovecraft took that ancient coastal deity and pulled him deeper into cosmic waters. In the Dreamlands, he is called the Lord of the Great Abyss. But the Abyss is not a cavern with a map. It is the undergeometry of the Dream Sea, the airless gulfs between dream countries, the drop-offs beneath Moonbeast lanes, the rookeries where night gaunts fold themselves into silence. Directions fail there, and vectors take over. Nodens rules by motion in that place, warrants issued as gestures, sentences carried by wind and wing. Under Nodens, the night gaunts are not good. They are purpose, faceless and sleek, playful in cruelty until the hunt begins. Then they become surgical and silent, harrying the moon beasts and tipping the board against Nyarlathotep's designs. And that is the fracture line that matters. Unlike the other gods of Earth, the Great Ones, who are toyed with by Nyarlathotep, Nodens is historically worshipped by humanity, yet dwells in Dream, and he refuses the messenger's leash. This is the forgotten tension in the original stories. A god of Earth who does not bow to the one who keeps the Great Ones docile. Later writers flattened him into a convenient elder god who simply opposes the Great Old Ones, but that loses the sharper truth. Nodens hunts where Nyarlathotep herds. He's not good in any warm human sense. He represents a kind of primordial order standing against certain forms of chaos. He's a hunter who hunts other hunters, and that's what makes him so unsettling. He might save you, but not because he cares about you. In the strange high house in the mist, we see a clifftop house that serves as a meeting point. Kingsport's geography does something special. The town climbs up from the sea in crooked lanes and impossible angles, rising to cliffs that look out over nothing. When the fog rolls in thick and the town goes quiet, the old stories say that something arrives. Not a carriage you can see, but a presence like wind given shape and purpose. The visitor is described as an elderly figure with an unkempt white beard, weathered by salt and time, and somehow the house recognizes him, the way an old dog knows its master's footsteps. Nodens doesn't whisper through basement cults or raise degenerate hybrids from the deep. He visits the way a storm visits, the way law visits. Where Innsmouth represents contagion, Kingsport represents appointment. Things happen there because they're supposed to, because the geography itself demands it. There are two crucial things to understand about Nodens. First, he's always in motion. He rides, pursues, and intervenes. His entire identity is wrapped up in crossing thresholds, from cliff to cloud, from waking to dream, from shore to abyss. He's not waiting somewhere to be discovered. He's already moving. Second, his reasons remain deep and unknowable, like the ocean itself. To humans he looks helpful because he opposes certain horrors. We want to call him an ally, but that's our word, not his. A better word might be tide. You don't ally with the tide. You just hope it's moving in a direction that doesn't drown you. When people see Nodens, they often think of Odin. The image of the grey-bearded wanderer, the storm rider, the leader of a wild hunt streaking across winter skies, that's ancient European mythology. Even those Roman-British inscriptions connected Nodens to hounds, creating a perfect bridge to Odin's wolves and the baying of the hunt. But Odin is a mythic sovereign who trades an eye for knowledge, wrapped up in runic lore and poetic speech. Very much a god of culture and wisdom. Nodens is something else. He's a breaking wave given will. He's the tide made conscious. His language isn't runes or poetry. It's pursuit itself. Imagine a seaward wild hunt, wind like rains, gulls scattering like sparks, night gaunts as the silent pack below, and further out, the moon beasts' black galleys fleeing toward the horizon. The clifftop house becomes the meeting point, the place where tide and cloud exchange riders. In the broader mythos, Nodens occupies strange territory. He's not a great old one. He's not a slumbering city god like Cthulhu. He's not a trickster like Nyarlathotep. Whether you accept the elder god classification or not, the practical truth remains. Nodens sometimes saves people, but never for their sake. That's what makes him genuinely unsettling. He offers an alien kind of benevolence that isn't moral, but geometric. You survive because of the angle of forces, not because anyone decided you deserve to live. Your salvation is a byproduct. Unlike the cult gods who require oaths and ceremonies drawn in salt, Nodens tends to meet wanderers, dreamers and the curious, people who follow edges, who stand in doorways a little too long, who watch the tide come in and forget to look away. Your protagonist doesn't summon him. They simply arrive where he's going to arrive. Characters who respect thresholds tend to fare better. Doorways, shorelines, the boundary between sleep and waking. Treat these with awareness, and you might be all right. Treat them carelessly, like toys, and you might find yourself hunted alongside the actual quarry. Nodens' interventions feel procedural, less like salvation, and more like enforcement. He's not a kindly god reaching down to help. He's more like a cosmic bailiff, making sure certain laws are followed. Laws that were written long before humans learned to write at all. If you need colors to hold him in your mind, think cold slate, wet bone, tarnished silver, with a filament of sea green rising in the blacks, textures like salt-rimed wood and fog that moves like cloth. Night gaunt wings sound like wind through organ pipes. His horn is half conch, half hunting call, with a far hound chorus braided inside. Everything about him suggests depth on the scale of geology. He doesn't arrive because you called. He arrives because the law of the abyss required movement, and you were already standing on the threshold. Nodens triggers 3 deep instincts. First, threshold or cliffs, doors, the boundary between sleeping and waking. These feel sacred because they are. They're places where the geometry of reality gets thin. Second, the hunt. The predator-prey logic that organizes chaos into story, whether we like our role in that story or not. Third, sea law, the idea that the ocean keeps score, that debts get paid, not by human systems of justice, but by something older and less forgiving. We're drawn to Nodens because he offers shape. He proves there's structure to the cosmos, but he doesn't offer comfort. Structure isn't the same as kindness. Tides have structure. Tides also drown you. This is why his antagonism with Nyarlathotep feels inevitable. The messenger turns worship into leverage and tends the great ones into pliant ornaments. Nodens refuses tending, refuses flattery, refuses spectacle. Where Nyarlathotep gathers crowds and smiles, Nodens prefers the moment when all sound steps aside. Some gods accept the messenger's smile. One does not, and in that refusal lies the only kind of rescue the mythos ever permits. Incidental, angular, terrifying. Here's the thing about Nodens, Lord of the Great Abyss, Master of Night Gaunts, the ancient hunter who rides the edge between worlds. If you ever find yourself on a Kingsport cliff when the fog grows thick and organized, when the bellboys go silent, and the air starts to feel like it has weight and direction, don't pray for mercy. Pray to be irrelevant, because Nodens isn't coming for you. He's coming through you, and the universe help whatever he's decided to chase.